Hi, I'm the Bike Hermit for Bike Touring News. In this episode of the Hermit's Workshop, we're looking at Rando bags. Some people might call these handlebar bags, even though they're not really attached to the handlebar. They sit on a front rack platform down lower than a typical handlebar bag, so they don't affect the steering as much. So as far as front racks go, some of the options are the Nito M12, which works well, or works with bikes with cantilever brake studs. It attaches right to the brake bolts. For a bike without cantilever studs, the M18 rack works. It has, you can either clamp it or attach it right to the eyelets on your fork. The Nito Camper is a front rack with side panels for panniers. The Surly rack, also a large platform and a place to hang panniers. Extra wide. The Rack Time Top It is another good rack. This is going to sit generally a little bit higher than the Nito racks. So again, if you have questions on what bag or decalier is going to work best for you, give us a call or email us. The only thing about a Rando bag like this, it sits on a back rack, you need some way to secure it. So we're going to talk about these brackets called decalures. This bracket or decalure is made by Velo Orange. It's two pieces, just a receptacle piece for the two pins. This part slips over the steer tube. This is made for 1 1/8". There's also a 1-inch version available. So, and this is made for threadless stem. So, stem comes off, decalure slides on, spacers, stem, top cap. And you're probably wondering what's to keep this from pivoting back and forth and letting the bag flop around. On a bike with cantilever brakes and a hanger, a cable hanger like this, this can be locked. There's a screw here to clamp that down to the steer tube, so that you can preset the bearings in the headset and then tighten down on your top cap enough to hold that decalure solid, and there it won't move enough to let that bag flop around. And if you have more than one spacer underneath of your stem, obviously it's possible to move this up or down to get it where you want it so that the bracket lines up when it's on the bag. In this bracket you can either use these straps to hold it, which is not the most secure. These straps are actually on there so a person could wrap these around their handlebars if the height worked out right. But the way I like to do it is take those straps out and actually bolt this on to the bag. So this is all one piece, and then you just slide it on and it's on there securely. The other option for a threadless stem is the decalure made by Gilbertude. This one actually is going to bolt, it's going to replace 2 of the bolts on the stem faceplate. So we'll take the bottom 2 faceplate bolts out. And replace them with the supplied bolts and hardware. Tighten those down to the specs recommended by your stem manufacturer. Safety first. Then you can see that these come in two different lengths, the 50mm version and the 70mm version. So this bracket is just going to bolt right to the piece we just put on the stem. So determine what bag you're going to be using and exactly where the brackets are going to be sitting, and then you can decide what length you need. These two parts come off and are permanently attached to the bag. Then the quick release skewer goes through the whole assembly to hold the bag in place. Then it might still take some fiddling around to get the height, the extension exactly the right way so that it'll work with the bag you want to use. Line it up where you want it, tighten it down, run the skewer back through there. It's a good idea to carry some spare safety pins or paper clips because these get lost or broken. So there's that. That's the Gilbertude Decalier for threadless stems. This is the Gilbertude Decalure made for quill type stems. They actually make two types of these. This one is for this is what they call the horizontal type. All that means is that the bolt through the stem is more or less horizontal versus a bolt in a stem that is more or less vertical. And in order to use this, they provide a replacement bolt for the stem clamp, which is longer, and this piece of steel, which sits on the back side of the stem and into which the bolt will thread. Most of these Rando bags too will have well, actually all of them will have some sort of strap on the bottom. The Bertude bag has a strap that's made specifically to fit over the back tang on a Nido style rack. So then with your bag in place and the bracket attached, you can determine where to put the attachments on the bag, where you want it to sit. Tighten it down, and you're golden. So a front bag is a great option for carrying stuff on a bike tour, whether it's Bertude, ostrich, and again, we can help you figure out which bag is going to work best for you and which rack and attachment system. So thanks for watching the Hermit's Workshop.